Imagine you have exactly 3 hours to secure your economic future. Like, you can't sit in a classroom. You can't read some dry theoretical textbook on computer science architecture.
Right. You just don't have the time for that.
Exactly. You literally have to sit down at a keyboard or, pick up your phone and immediately start generating tangible value.
Which is a pretty intense scenario to put yourself in.
Oh, it's incredibly high stakes. But that is the exact scenario we are unpacking for you today in this deep dive. We are looking at a highly actionable, relentlessly practical document. It's called the Rehan AI Emergency Workshop Workbook.
Yeah, and specifically, we are diving into the 2026 edition zero point 0.1. This was authored by Rehan Alawala, and it's associated with Rehan School and Rehan Training.
And the foundational premise of this document is just uncompromising.
It really is. I mean, it basically says artificial intelligence is no longer this speculative future thing. It's the immediate present.
Right. It's not some sci-fi concept anymore. It's right now.
Exactly. And this workbook, it's structured as an intensive gauntlet. It completely bypasses the slow, methodical theory we usually associate with, learning a new tech skill. It just focuses entirely on execution.
Yeah, and as someone who consumes a massive amount of dry tech literature for these deep dives, it is genuinely jarring, but in a good way, to see a guide that demands action from the very first sentence.
Yeah, it doesn't mess around.
Not at all. The text literally frames this 3-hour session as an emergency workshop. It operates on this philosophy that those who integrate AI into their workflows today will lead tomorrow.
And those who delay are going to face severe economic friction.
Which is a very real threat, if we are being honest.
Oh, absolutely. And that framing, calling it an emergency, it bypasses the standard procrastination we all experience with new tools.
Right, because suddenly there are stakes, personal stakes.
Exactly. The curriculum isn't designed to teach you what a large language model is or how neural networks process tokens.
Nobody cares about the tokens in an emergency.
Right. It is engineered to build an immediate psychological bridge between you and the machine, taking you from an AI novice to an active creator and earner, instantly.
And the way it builds that bridge is just fascinating because it starts by throwing you completely into the deep end.
Yeah, no gentle introductions here.
None. The workbook doesn't ease you in with a simple hello world prompt. It directs you to open ChatGPT and then Google's Gemini and ask this massive, highly ambitious question.
The $100,000 question.
Literally, you have to ask, how can I earn $100,000 per month using AI?
Which, if you think about it, fundamentally shifts the dynamic of the whole interaction.
Oh, totally, because you aren't just testing the software anymore.
Right. When we look at adult learning theory, andragogy, one of the core principles is that adults learn best when the subject matter has immediate relevance to their own lives.
And nothing grabs human attention faster than survival and prosperity.
Exactly. By prompting you to ask about generating significant income right out of the gate, your brain just locks in.
Yeah, you are consulting a strategic advisor about your own financial trajectory at that point. But I do have to push back on the realism of that specific prompt, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
Demanding an AI tell you how to make $100,000 a month feels a bit like, looking for a magic get-rich-quick button.
Sure, it can sound like that.
Is there a danger of setting up false expectations here, especially for a total novice? Because if you ask a conversational AI how to make $100,000, it's not going to spit out a winning lottery ticket.
No, definitely not.
Or some secret algorithmic trading bot. It's just going to give you high-level strategic advice.
Well, the underlying goal of that specific prompt isn't actually the financial advice itself.
Wait, really? Then what is it?
The financial query is just the hook. The real lesson happens in the methodology of how the workbook instructs you to ask it.
Oh, I see. Because you have to ask both of them.
Right. You are told to run this exact same prompt through both ChatGPT and Gemini. And by comparing the outputs, you intuitively grasp that these models have different reasoning pathways.
They have different training data, different formatting styles.
Exactly. You learn to evaluate AI models organically without ever having to read a dense white paper on the differences between OpenAI and Google's architectures.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like learning to swim by being gently tossed into the shallow end of a pool rather than reading a textbook on hydrodynamics.
That's a perfect analogy. And the workbook also strictly enforces how you interact with these models during this.
Right. It doesn't just want you typing it out.
No, it mandates that you use the voice input feature to ask the question. And then you have to use the speaker button to actually listen to the AI's response.
Which I found so interesting. Because breaking the friction of the keyboard completely changes the cognitive load of the interaction.
It really does.
Like when you are typing, you are hyper aware of syntax and spelling and, getting the formatting right.
Yeah, you're editing yourself constantly.
But when you are speaking and listening, that cognitive barrier just dissolves.
And that shift from text to voice, it's a massive leap in human-computer interaction. It forces you to treat the AI not as a search engine, but as a conversational entity.
It's like talking to a colleague.
Exactly. This lowers the barrier to entry significantly, especially for people who might not be fast typists or who are intimidated by a blinking cursor. The AI becomes a dialogue partner.
And once that conversational baseline is established, the curriculum makes this brilliant pivot.
Yeah, it shifts gears completely.
It moves away from those raw financial queries and dives straight into identity-driven, highly localized creation.
This part is so crucial.
You are guided to use ChatGPT, Gemini, and this dedicated audio generation model called Suno AI. And the goal is to generate a Pakistan Milli Nagma, like a national patriotic song.
And this represents such a vital insight into technology adoption.
How so?
Well, historically, a major barrier for global users adopting Silicon Valley tech is this feeling of cultural alienation.
Oh, I get that. The software often feels like it was built for someone else.
Right, for someone in a different part of the world with completely different cultural references.
And localization drives adoption far faster than raw capability ever could.
Exactly.
When you ask a music generation model to create a Milli Nagma, it isn't just translating English lyrics into Urdu.
No, it's doing way more than that.
It's mapping vectors in its high-dimensional latent space to cluster around South Asian cultural nuances. The specific historical references, the regional instrumentation.
And when the AI outputs a piece of media that actually reflects your own heritage back to you, the intimidation factor of the technology just evaporates.
It ceases to be a foreign tool and becomes like a personal extension of your identity.
Yeah, that emotional resonance is the key. And the workbook doubles down on this by continually narrowing the scope of the localization.
Right, it gets more and more specific to you.
Exactly. After generating a national song, you are instructed to prompt the AI to write a song about your specific city.
Wow.
And then you provide details about your own life and have it generate a personal song about you. The progression intentionally moves from national identity to civic identity to personal identity.
And the progression of visual design tasks follows that exact same trajectory of increasing personalization, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
It starts with a standard social task, generating an Urdu birthday card for a friend.
Which is pretty simple, pretty universal.
Right. But then it escalates. You outline your specific professional skills to Gemini, ask it to design a business card, and you actually upload your own photo so the AI incorporates your face right into the design.
The visual scaffolding here is remarkably sophisticated. I mean, the user is learning prompt engineering, image generation, and multimodal inputs, mixing text and image without any of the associated jargon.
No one is saying the word multimodal in the workbook.
Exactly. They are just doing it.
And the escalation doesn't stop at a flat image either. The very next step pushes you to instruct Gemini to take that 2D business card and project it into a 3D design space, still incorporating your photo.
Which is a huge leap in complexity, but it feels so natural.
It really does. And then it forces you into live computer vision. You open the camera within the Gemini interface, point it at your immediate surroundings, and ask the AI to analyze and identify the objects in your actual room.
And we also see the introduction of Grok AI later in the sequence, which is fascinating.
Oh, right, the family photo task.
Yes. The user is asked to upload an old family photograph, specifically suggesting an image of a grandparent, and use the AI to convert that static historical image into a moving video.
I mean, animating a photo of a grandparent, that brings an immense emotional payload.
It really hits home.
It demonstrates that AI can bridge temporal gaps. It touches the past, present, and future of your own life.
It makes it incredibly personal.
Completing this section feels like suddenly acquiring a world-class creative agency that just lives in your pocket.
That's a great way to put it.
Like within the span of maybe 90 minutes, you are managing a lyricist, a composer, an Urdu translator, a 3D graphic designer, an animator, and a computer vision analyst.
You are pulling the levers of creation across multiple modalities.
Which fundamentally rewires your self-perception.
Yeah.
You transition from being a passive consumer of digital content, just scrolling through feeds, to being an active director of media.
But, and this is important, Empowerment through creative art is only one facet of AI.
Great. You can't just make songs all day.
Exactly. To make the technology truly indispensable, the workbook recognizes it must transition the user from creating art to eliminating daily friction.
Oh, man. Bureaucracy and mundane repetitive tasks are universally despised.
By everyone, everywhere.
And the workbook tackles this head-on. The curriculum guides you to use an AI search engine called Perplexity to locate and download a tool called Comet Browser.
Which has some very specific capabilities.
Right. You are then instructed to open any online form and use the browser's integrated AI assistant to automatically fill out all the data fields.
Forms represent the ultimate cognitive drain in our digital lives. I mean, nobody likes filling out forms.
Nobody. It is the worst.
By demonstrating how AI can instantly clear that bureaucratic hurdle, the workbook provides this tangible, immediate quality of life upgrade.
It proves that AI isn't just for writing poetry or generating cool images. It is a utility for frictionless living.
And that practical utility really sets the stage for my absolute favorite sequence in this entire document.
The educational hacking.
Yes, the educational hacking. The workbook outlines a masterclass in modern learning workflows.
It really does. You are directed to a specific URL to download a rigorous PDF textbook called Mutala Pakistan.
Which is a Pakistan studies curriculum.
Right. You take this dense PDF, upload it into an AI tool called Notebook LM, and prompt the system to generate a video overview, followed by an audio overview, all in Urdu.
And to understand why this is so revolutionary, we have to look at the underlying architecture of Notebook LM.
Okay, let's break that down.
It utilizes a process called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or ROG.
Right, great. I've seen that acronym everywhere.
Yeah. And unlike a standard interaction with ChatGPT, where the AI is pulling from its vast generalized training data and might, hallucinate facts.
Because it's just guessing the next word based on the whole internet.
Exactly. Notebook LM restricts its knowledge base exclusively to the documents you upload.
So the AI is essentially acting as a highly specialized, localized librarian. It is tethered entirely to the text of the Mutala Pakistan book.
Yes. But here is where I usually hear some pushback from educators.
Well, yeah, I have a concern too. Wait, if we are just using AI to summarize a whole textbook into a quick video or audio file, aren't we losing the depth and nuance of actually sitting down and reading the material?
It's a very valid educational concern, but the pedagogical mechanism at play here is vital.
Okay, how does it help then?
Generating an audio or video overview doesn't actually replace the textbook. It isn't a shortcut to avoid reading.
Oh, so you still have to read it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it creates a cognitive scaffold for the learner first.
A cognitive scaffold. So it's like attempting to assemble a massive, complex jigsaw puzzle.
Okay, I like where this is going.
If you just open the box and dump the pieces on the table without looking at the picture on the cover, you are staring at hundreds of random disconnected shapes.
And traditional education often feels exactly like that.
Yes. Starting on page 1 of a dense textbook, gathering disparate facts without an overarching structure to fit them into.
It's exhausting.
But by using Notebook LM to generate a high-level multimodal summary in your native language first, the AI is essentially giving you the picture on the box.
That is a brilliant analogy. It maps out the intellectual territory before you even step foot in it.
So you know what to look for when you do read it.
Exactly. When you have listened to a synthesized overview that dynamically translates complex academic concepts into your most comfortable language, your brain is prepared.
The subsequent reading process is drastically more effective then.
It really is. You aren't burning all your cognitive energy trying to figure out the main themes or historical timelines. You already know them. You're simply slotting detailed information into a structural framework you already possess.
You are hacking your own comprehension speed.
Yeah, you are.
It transforms a static, intimidating curriculum into dynamic, accessible media. It's incredible. I mean, we've moved from ambitious financial prompts to culturally localized art to 3D design to automating tedious forms and finally to revolutionizing how we consume dense information.
And all of this builds the necessary foundation for the final critical phase of the workbook.
Right, because we loop all the way back to the initial promise, real-world action and economic application.
The whole reason we started this emergency workshop.
Exactly. The workbook refuses to let you close the tab and walk away with just a few cool new tricks. It pushes you toward practical earning platforms.
It demands action.
You are instructed to navigate to rehanjobs.com, create a user profile, and actually upload your CV. Then you sign up on Rehan.ai, which is a platform that explicitly targets helping users earn up to $500 per month.
And the inclusion of a specific financial target like $500 is a highly strategic microeconomic goal.
It feels very grounded compared
Yeah.
to the $100,000 prompt at the start.
Exactly. In many global economies, particularly in the target demographic for this workbook, an additional $500 a month is entirely life-changing.
Oh, absolutely.
It sets a concrete, achievable milestone that grounds that earlier, massive $100,000 query into immediate, actionable reality.
And the concluding philosophy of the workbook delivers this pretty stark reality check.
Hmm.
The text basically says, you have now completed the AI emergency workshop, but this is only the beginning. What matters now is not what you learned, but what you do next.
That's powerful.
It warns you that if you stop here, the knowledge will fade, but if you continue to apply it daily, you will lead.
Because the core thesis of this entire 3-hour exercise isn't about memorizing the user interface of ChatGPT or Gemini or Notebook LM.
Right, because those change every week anyway.
Exactly. Interfaces update constantly. Tech companies rebrand. The true value is in developing an instinctual mechanism for problem solving.
It is about building an AI reflex. I view this 3-hour workbook exactly like an intense session at the gym.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
You can have the most grueling, sweat-drenched, enlightening workout of your life. You can learn the precise biomechanics of every machine on the floor.
But you won't get strong from just one day.
No. The muscle tissue only actually hypertrophies and grows if you return to the gym the next day and the day after that. If you complete this workbook and then go back to your job on Monday and tackle a data analysis problem using your old manual methods, that AI reflex just atrophies.
It goes away completely. The AI reflex dictates that the moment you encounter a blank page, a confusing spreadsheet, a dense PDF, or a repetitive bureaucratic task, your immediate instinct is to pause.
You pause and ask,
Yeah.
how can I partner with an AI model to execute this faster and with higher fidelity?
Yes. The workbook serves as the catalyst to permanently transition the user into an active, economically viable participant in the modern digital economy.
It's shifting your entire operational mindset.
And the final mandate of the document is so clear on this. Do not wait for the future. Build it.
To synthesize this entire journey for you listening, what we've uncovered today is how a remarkably dense, rapid-fire 3-hour workbook provides a comprehensive blueprint for the modern worker.
A very practical blueprint.
You begin by engaging conversational AI through voice, bypassing keyboard friction. You map cultural and personal data into generative models to create music and 3D designs, proving the technology can reflect your own identity.
You utilize AI search to find tools that automate your most tedious forms.
And you master retrieval augmented generation to build cognitive scaffolds, turning dense textbooks into accessible audio and video.
It systematically demystifies complex technology by anchoring it entirely in personal utility, cultural relevance, and immediate financial application.
The barrier to entry has really never been lower.
No, but the economic cost of ignoring these tools has never been higher.
Exactly. It is the ultimate tactical playbook for the present moment. We tailored this deep dive to extract the exact operational framework found in the source material so you can adopt this emergency mindset right now.
You really don't need to feel paralyzed by the thousands of new AI applications launching every single week.
Just start with the core mechanics we explored today. Use voice interfaces. Ask the massive, ambitious questions.
Force the AI to localize its output to your city and your language.
Use it to eliminate your daily friction.
The tools are waiting. The execution is entirely up to you.
Which leaves us with a final thought to mull over as you step back into your day. We've explored how AI can automate forms and synthesize whole textbooks in seconds. Look closely at your own daily routine.
There's definitely something in there you can automate.
Oh, for sure. If you had an AI architecture that could instantly turn your longest, most frustrating, most mind-numbingly manual daily task into a fully automated background process, what would you free up your time and cognitive energy to build next?